Once we've defined what our problem space is, we've started to look at what tools we want to give it. We now need to equip it with those tools. In a lot of cases, this used to be CLIs, APIs, or custom authentication packages or things of that sort. And we would arm it with tools to go interface with other systems. We'll come back to that in just a minute. The last thing we do is we then deploy and instruct those agents, those AI tools that we've built. In a lot of cases, they work ceasingly. I mean, that's the point of AI. It can work without an interface. It can work tirelessly, unlike us who need to take breaks. And usually, they'll work flawlessly. Sometimes, just sometimes though, they might encounter something unexpected, and they go in rogue directions that we weren't expecting. So what might have happened here? What are the things that are going on in our AI that cause it to have security flaws and cause it to go out beyond its boundaries? Let's come back to this equip step for a minute. As I mentioned, in previous iterations of AI, we would give it direct access to CLI tooling, to APIs. We'd give it direct instruction on how to go access a piece of data. Maybe it's your Jira server. Maybe it's your GitHub PR flow. Maybe it's your issues centered somewhere else. Nowadays, when we talk about that, we tend to be talking about MCP tools, MCP servers, and MCP services that are available. If you're not familiar, MCP is the Model Context Protocol that Anthropic has kind of defined. So in this way, what we're seeing is in about a year, the MCP protocol has gone from a niche spec from Anthropic to this massive powerhouse that's really gaining global traction. And it's showing up in everything from your IDEs, so VS Code, Claude Code on your desktop, or any of these others. And our MCP tools that go with that are being integrated into all of your chat apps, to all of your LLMs, and everywhere else we have it. I like the little tongue-in-cheek here. Everything seems to have an MCP server nowadays. So I want to buy this pen. Sure, you should buy this one. It's got an MCP server attached. I think, though, as we see this rapid adoption and we see the escape velocity of a tool like MCP or this protocol, we start to see a new set of challenges, specifically a bunch of security challenges that go with this. And what I'm here to talk about is how to run your MCP a little more securely and how to scale it within an enterprise setting. So again, despite its rapid popularity growth and the adoption by everybody industry-wide, and I do mean everybody, there are a lot of people out there who are adopting MCP, who are putting it into all of their products, interfacing tools with it and whatnot, we really see it as still playing catch-up with the industry, and specifically as it relates to the enterprise context. What we're seeing from the developer side is that there's three main areas, three main challenges that you're going through. The first is discovery of tools and which tools you can trust is very fragmented. There are GitHub repos, there are repositories all over the place, there are registries out there in all kinds of different contexts. Everybody is building out these MCP server lists. Come grab ours, we've got the latest and greatest. We've got tools that are available to you, but figuring out which of those are official, where's the official GitHub MCP server? Is it the one that I see from GitHub? Is it the one that was forked and published by somebody else? That's really difficult today. And you definitely don't want to be running unvetted servers on your local machine, definitely not in your production environments, and your IT DevOps, DevSecOps, whatever you might have in your organization doesn't want you doing that as well. So running things that you find off the internet, running things that your developers might find on Stack Overflow or Reddit is a real problem for everybody, and it puts your agents that you're deploying, puts your other LLM models that are out there, it puts your applications and your general posture of security for the org at risk. The second is installation. This is a terrible mess right now for the developer. And again, I'm going to focus on the developer for a moment. We'll come back to the enterprise in a minute. Your developers are going to go clone a bunch of repos. They're going to generally use a Node-based or a Python-based server software, so NPX, UVX, and they're going to run the commands that they found online to install that MCP server. What's going to happen with that? In the case of Node, we're going to download hundreds, thousands in some cases, of packages. Who knows what's included? You don't know. Your IT doesn't know. Your enterprise software folks that are your watchdogs don't have a clue what's going on in that. Every one of those also uses a different setup method. So even if they were all Node and they were all concentrated in this, each one is going to have different configuration packages that go with it. So we've got YAML files. We've got other ways of passing things around. And then when you add on top of that, VS Code, Cursor, Claude, et cetera, for clients that want to talk to these things, those all have their own forms of files and syntax to pass around authentication or different types of configuration. The result is this massive configuration drift across a company, across a team. One developer's machine no longer looks like another developer's machine. We both want the same tool, the same MCP. We want our agents and our LLMs to have access to those tools, but now my configuration is different than yours. And the last is a weak security posture. A lot of these, as I mentioned, are launched with NPX, UVX, et cetera, and that puts this unverified code into your system. You really don't know what package load is coming with it, the vulnerabilities that exist there. We just this summer saw the upstream node injection of a malicious package affected a huge amount of the industry. You're now exposing node packages to your local system, your local file system, and that is not something that you really want to be doing. It leads to a lot of configuration issues and the potential exposure of your data out there on the web. When we think about the general space, it's more than just these issues that our developers encounter with figuring out which are the trusted sources and how to put them on a machine. We're also seeing a whole new set and a new class of threats designed to exploit how MCP works. If you haven't heard of Simon Willison, I encourage you to go look up his lethal trifecta. He's the individual who coined the term prompt injection, and he's got great articles about prompt injection, jailbreaking in MCPs, things of this sort. Great resource to look at. But what we're seeing is there's some major things here. Prompt injection, which is the hostile content that might instruct your model to exfiltrate data. It might give it different instruction sets than you were expecting it to, or it might call out to dangerous tools. Tool poisoning, this one's really interesting. This is where you get hidden instructions. Maybe we've asked our AI to go crawl some other source. That source now has embedded instructions, and they might not be visible to you or I, but they're machine readable by the AI, and now it interprets those as new instructions, and it circumvents the user intent of what I asked my agent to do. The next one, rug pulls. This is actually my favorite term. This is when I authorize my MCP tool to go do a thing. It says it's going to do A, B, and C, and I authorize it to do that. Tomorrow, though, there's an update upstream. When I run that tomorrow, it's now doing something completely different. So what I authorized yesterday is no longer the results I'm getting today. This is a very unique one. We call that the MCP rug pull. And then MCP shadowing, similar to tool poisoning. This is the idea that you get an injection of malicious intent, alters the agent's behavior, or even starts making calls to non-trusted sources and so on. So these are new attack surfaces, novel attack surfaces, and things that our traditional security models really don't address.
If you found this useful, there's a lot more waiting for you on demand. To access all of our previous AI events and content, become a member today. Membership gives you exclusive access to members-only articles, practical frameworks and templates, and over 200 hours of expert-led video content, as well as on-demand recordings from our presentations and events. You'll also have the chance to join us live at upcoming sessions with leading voices in artificial intelligence. To get started, head to the link in the description and join our AI community today.